Hi, good morning, everybody. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes for more participants to join in. We'll start in about 5 minutes. All right. So today's topic is a very simple topic, but it's a very important topic. And I've kept the presentation short to the point so that it's easy for everybody to understand. So, how do you build an emergency reserve? Right. Okay. So, what is an emergency reserve? Right. So, an emergency reserve is a financial safety net specifically designed to cover unexpected expenses. Right. That may arise. It can be anything. It can be medical, job loss. It can be anything. Right. But by having these funds set aside, anybody can ensure that they are prepared for unforeseen circumstances. Right. Now, how many of you have an emergency reserve? Right. I think you can answer the question in the okay. There's a question. There is an answer. Yes, I do. Okay. Anybody else? Not earmarked. Okay. So we have two answers. One is yes, one is no. No. Okay. So we have two no's, one yes. Okay. Many no's, only one yes. All right. All right. Good. So what are the types of emergency, right? That are covered by this reserve. See, we'll get to, how much of it you need to park, what you need to do when you park it. But these are very important things that you must consider, right? Whenever there is a scenario for a job loss, right, it creates a lot of pressure for the entire household, right? If you're the sole earner, naturally it's going to create a very big problem for the entire household, right? Second, medical expenses. Now I'll share something of my own personal story. Uh, and I was also on the same boat of having an emergency reserve, but it wasn't enough, right? And this happened a couple of months back where I did go through some bit of a problem. It was a flu, and the flu came back. It came back in a bad manner, and a lot of testing. And you know what happens when you go to a specialist? They will test. Uh, they will go down on it and make sure that you're tested for everything, right? And medical expenses are a huge expense today, right? Medical inflation itself is around 12% or so in India, right? So for Indians, definitely it is a big problem. If you're not covered by insurance, then it's a big problem, right? If you are covered by insurance, but whatever procedure is there, like my case where it was not covered by the insurance, I had to dip into my emergency reserve, and the emergency reserve also made me realize that okay, I might be in a situation again which might not be enough, right? And it proved to not be enough. So yes, going forward, I'm making sure that I have enough going into the reserve. Right. So medical expenses is a very important thing, whether it is for you or whether it is for anybody else in your household. Right. Third, unexpected expenses. This creates an irritant. It's an annoying expense. Like if it can be as simple as you dropping your phone and your glass breaking, and then you have to spend some more money to fix that phone. Right. Second, if there is some maintenance work that has to happen in your house, something breaks, something opens up, it's a problem. Third, what if there is an issue in your vehicle, whether it is a bike or whether it is a car. So some issues like that come up, and then again you have to spend more money on it. That becomes a problem. Right. So then you have unexpected life events. This can mean, sudden death. It can mean anything. When you have a negative impact happening in your life, that does cause some bit of financial strain because we are all unprepared for it. Yeah, this unpreparedness is what always creates so much of an issue, and no matter how much we try, right? But having something aside always make sure that the pressure is completely lower, right? But in this entire thing, I would first rate medical expenses based on my. You can also rate. So why don't you guys rate? Based on these four options, what would be first for you? For me, first would definitely be medical expenses because I've faced it firsthand. Unexpected life events would be second, unexpected expenses would be third, and job loss would be fourth. Right. So, what is your rating according to this? Right. What would be, what are you most, what do you feel that you're most unprepared for? Okay, one of you said medical expense, job loss. Okay, unexpected expenses, job loss. Okay. Okay, medical expense. All right. So two medical, two job loss, one unexpected. Okay, there's one unexpected life. Okay. Uh, okay. Since most of you fall in that basket of job loss and you know unexpected expenses, and then comes medical. So we'll cover. I'll try to talk only in those terms then. Yeah. Okay. Now, most important thing, right? How much should you save? See, there is a general rule that says that somewhere between 3 to 6 months of your expenses is what you should save, right? But I would say anywhere between 6 to 8 months, if you're able to save your home, you're very, very good. But if it's somewhere between 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, then it can become a big problem, right? See, consider this money as not earning anything. This is something that needs to be very liquid for you in nature, that has to be very accessible. Not from a point of, okay, I need to make more money on this. No, the priority and the goal for this particular reserve is that it needs to be liquid, one, and needs to be accessible anytime. Basically, if you need it today, you should get it today. You need it tomorrow, you should get it tomorrow, right? Second, your personal lifestyle matters a lot. If you're living a more flamboyant, more you know, it's not frugal enough, then definitely it does impact your ability to save, right? Because your household or the people around you might be living or might be accustomed to a particular lifestyle, right? Which enables you to be accustomed to that particular lifestyle, right? So it might be difficult for you to change that particular part of your life, but this matters a lot in terms of how much you can save, right? So I would say this is something that people usually cannot change. It becomes a very difficult task to change, but living a frugal life is okay. You should be still be able to enjoy your life. You should be able to travel. You should be able to do a lot of things that you want to do for yourself, that your family wants to do. But make sure that it is 6 to 8 months of your entire expenses, right? Which you keep aside. Second, if you're living individual, if you're living with a family, then expenses vary differently. Yes, your ability to save is more when you live alone, or you and your wife or your partner live alone. And when you have a family, naturally the expenses are higher, right? But in India, you are seeing trends where it's becoming more and more nuclear, which does positively impact your ability to save, because in some households both the people at home are earning. So yes, that does positively impact your ability to save. But if it's more from a family, then yes, you require a larger reserve. Not that you you should still be willing to do 6 to 8 months, but in that 6 to 8 months, whenever you're getting a bonus, you should be able to try and save more. Right? But yes, there is a lot of flexibility when it comes to single families. Right. Now, most of you said job loss. Now, yes, job loss definitely does affect your ability to save. That level of stability gives you that confidence on how much risk you can take. Your ability to take risk depends on your job stability. Now, if you're in a stable position, uh, I would still say that yes, you might think that, yeah, just because you're in a stable position, you're confident that money will keep flowing to you every month, so you can do whatever you want, and hence it would again turn onto your lifestyle, where you upgrade your lifestyle, where you do many things that are not usually your natural course, that pushes you to do it. But even if you're in a stable particular job, Your ability to save should be very, very high. Your willingness to save should be very, very high when it comes to having something set aside that doesn't earn any money. Otherwise, you're always looking for, okay, I would like to take more and more and more and more risk. I have monthly inflows coming in. There's not going to be a problem for me. So take risk, whatever it may be. Right. But no, that level of overconfidence is harmful. And I would still say that no matter what your stability or your instability, it should still push you to create a larger reserve that you can benefit of in any unexpected situation. Now, this is a sensitive topic. The next one is health condition. See, if you are someone who is already having issues, right? Then your priority needs to be setting more and more towards uh, uh, your short-term needs rather than your long-term needs, right? Because medical costs are very high, right? And having a financial cushion does help you out. But this is something that is very sensitive because of the fact that you don't know what issues happen and the way things are going on. A lot of health issues, a lot of new things after COVID. It has become even more important for people to understand and realize that a very big chunk of investments need to be made for health, be it mental or physical, for you to actually live a much more holistic life. Right. So in this part, right, that definitely a lot of planning needs to go. You need to sit with your advisor. You need to sit with, you need to do a lot of yearly checkups to see if you're doing the right things, to see if you're covered by insurance when it comes to you considering your health. Right. So this is a very, very important part. So this is not as simple as just having 6 to 8 months of expenses. No, there has to be a proper plan when it comes to taking care of your health. Your doctor needs to be involved, your financial advisor needs to be involved, and your family needs to be involved. Right? These are three things that need to take place, and that actually propels you to make better decisions in your ability to save money for that particular goal. Right. So, in a nutshell, 6 to 8 months is good. And the things that you need to consider is, yes, have a frugal lifestyle. If you're individual, then your ability to save is higher, flexibility is higher. Family, then you need to plan for a larger reserve. Second, make sure that you're not very overconfident when it comes to your job security and your job stability. Still, that 6 to 8 months needs to be there. Just because you have stability coming in doesn't mean that unforeseen things will not happen for you. And last, in relation to your health and how much you should save for your health, there needs to be three people that needs to be involved. Your family needs to be involved, your personal, your doctor needs to be involved, and your advisor needs to be involved in it. So that checks for insurance, checks for the money and the amount of money that needs to be saved should be there. And last, yearly checkups definitely need to be there. Right? Okay. Now, what are the strategies to build your emergency reserve? Now, are you following any current strategy for those who are, who said, yes, that I do have an emergency reserve? Are there practical strategies that you're currently following? Yes. Okay. Can you give us a brief on on what you're doing? Okay. So I keep some money aside for the emergency fund, and at the end of the month, whatever money is left, I push it to another account. When that money hits 1.5 lakhs, I move 1 lakh to a liquid fund. Okay, so you move 1 lakh to a liquid fund, and the other 50 is there for you somewhere in your savings or uh, current, wherever it is. But that 1 lakh then moves to a particular liquid fund. right? Where you earn minimal returns of 5.5%, 6% or 6.5%. Got it. Any other strategies that come to people's minds for those who are actually following something? Okay. One more said surplus moved to a liquid fund. All right. Okay, minimum 12 months or 1 year expenses are kept in liquid or cash, which is easy. Can be savings or FD, because return is not the focus. Yes, return is not the focus here. Accessibility is the focus. Liquidity is the focus. Right. So yes, I think you're following something very good. 12 years, sorry, 12 months or at least a year, right? So at least 10 to 12 months worth of your expenses are put in a liquid, whether it is your savings, whether it is your FD, whether it is liquid. But that's a very good strategy for you to follow. And the first strategy, right? Whatever comes to me in a month, I put aside something for me to go and start saving for that particular unforeseen emergency. Now, one thing that everybody does, but they don't really follow. Everybody thinks that yes, I will save some money and keep it in a particular fund. But the first step that you should be doing is setting aside and setting a monthly goal to set aside some money. Now, let's say if you're earning 50,000, out of that 50,000, how much needs to go towards an emergency reserve? How much needs to go towards your expenses? How much needs to go towards saving for your retirement or saving for any other house goal or whatever? That needs to be set up. So, a monthly goal for setting aside something needs to be set up. Only then the next step of automating your savings will happen. Now, for example, let's say because job loss was one of the most important things that come in, and second, let's say in that itself, where you started to save for the first 3 4 months, yes, you're able to save, but suddenly something happens where you have to dip into your savings. So what do you do then? Do you dip into your, for example, I'm giving you a question also which you can answer. What do you do then? Do you first dip into your savings or do you first dip into whatever cash flows are coming for you inside? Because if you dip into your cash flows that come in, then your expenses that are essential for you start taking a hit. Right. So what do you do then? Going to a loan. Okay. Next. Redeem liquid, sometimes equity or take a loan. All right. Okay. See, this is what happens, right? It's a very normal thing for this to happen, where you think you have to, rather than dipping into it, or when you say that you're in that place because that accessibility of getting a loan from somebody else is there, or a bank or any of your family members, any friend, whatever, uh, you immediately go towards that particular channel, right? And that particular channel can prove to be expensive for you once you are out of that particular situation. right? So this is not alone you. This is everybody who's in the same boat where they have to go towards that particular road. But to avoid such certain behaviors like this, where you have to go towards debt to make sure that you're able to uh, come out of that unforeseen where you have to pay for something. Setting a monthly target is definitely going to work. Let's say if you put 20% needs to go in my savings, 20% needs to go in your savings, whether you earn 50,000, whether that increases to 75, whether from there it increases to 1. Right? That much money needs to go, because as you start growing, your savings reserve also needs to start growing. It's just like how you contribute towards your equity, right? This is why we say have that sort of diversified multi asset sort of approach. Why? Because there are certain things that you cannot predict, right, in your life, right? So having something going across with a proper target is going to be very, very helpful to you, right? So then you don't have to dip into anywhere, right? You don't have to dip your hand into going for a loan, nor do you have to dip into your assets that are actually working for you in the long term for your retirement, right? So first thing I would suggest you to do is, yes, start setting monthly targets in terms of how much you should be saving for emergency, right? Then automate it. Now, this is very easy for you to do, because if your entire base is set, then automating it is not going to be a problem for you. There's a lot of tech that's involved. It's like SIP, so that automatically keeps going. So that's not a concern at all. But the first thing is making sure that you are actually setting a particular target, setting a particular goal in terms of how much you need to save for emergency, right? That you will know only when you sit with an advisor, uh, for you to understand, one, what your ability to save is and your potential to save is, right? That sort of direction you will get only from a financial planner who is an advisor, right? Third, cut back on non-essential spending. Now, for example, how much of your expenses as a percentage comes from Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, Blinkit, and let's say eating out, entertainment expenses, movies. How much of that is a percentage of your entire expenses? And how much is Amazon? Amazon, Flipkart, you put that also. There's one 5%, there's one 10%, 2% per month. Okay, ours is high. For Swiggy, it's 13, but we don't shop on Amazon as much. Man, Swiggy 13%. Okay, so more or less, I would say the average comes up to somewhere between 7.5% for all of you, the guys who said. Any other answers? 4% eating out. Okay, my number also comes up to 10% only. Eating out, Swiggy, Amazon, Flipkart. Then there are some. Uh, I basket all my sports and entertainment. So see, it's very important, no? When you have to sit and see and categorize these expenses, you categorize them in a particular way that makes you feel really negative about it. But certain things, they are uh, capital building. So shifting home to uh, less rent. Okay, so more or less the number is the same. I would say 7.5% is the average that comes up if I have to take everything. And this is where we come on cut back on non-essential expenses. Now, if you're at home and cooking is a problem, then yeah, ordering outside is Sometimes essentials on Amazon, no, consider that. See, your groceries and all of that is essential. So as long as it's coming, I mean, the food inflation, vegetable inflation is on the higher side now. So yes, it would hit your pockets. But consider that as essentials. What I'm considering as non-essentials is some frivolous expense that you ordered out of impulse, right? Where you know you can afford to eat lesser outside and cook at home, and your ability is also there to cook at home. So all of that is being considered as no. These are all non-essentials, where it's not actually needed. You can control it, right? Something that you can control. You cannot control your vegetable and fruits, vegetables, and all of that. Yeah, that is definitely essential. So no, essentials on Amazon is essentials. Don't consider that. Right. So the next is very important. You're cutting back on non-essential spending. Now, this is where that lifestyle part starts coming in, where if you're living that sort of a lifestyle, then it becomes very difficult for you to cut back on your non-essential spendings. Right. This is more on your part. This is based on your personality. That if your personality is, yes, I do have a lot of expenses that go towards my social outings, go towards my social capital, right? Then you need to plan for that better, because you cannot dip into your emergency reserve, nor can you dip into your savings that need to go for your retirement, right? So you need to plan for this in such a way where you're still able to meet that particular lifestyle in some manner, right? Where you balance things out. At the same time, make sure that whatever you are saving across both your goals, they are untouched. That particular thing keeps on going. This is where that setting that monthly target and automating your savings come in, because once it gets automated, you can't touch it. It has to go no matter what happens, right? And given the lifestyle of the participants that are there, I don't think it's very difficult for you all to cut back on your non-essentials, right? But we definitely work with people where it's difficult for them to cut back on their non-essentials, and we have to plan for that, right? Now, the last one, setting aside something out of your bonuses. Is this currently happening amongst all of you, where you're setting aside something that comes out of your bonuses, or that goes on that either goes investing into equity, into debt, or into gold, or does it go for a travel? Okay, any extra money we get goes into emergency fund till it is up to 6 months. Then we consider our bank balance to be zero. Okay. Till then we consider our bank balance to be zero. Okay, very good. Yeah. That's a good mindset that you have for for your household. No systematic goal-based investing, just a few equity funds, a couple of hybrid funds, surplus sometimes to liquid. No. This is where you have to go back to the drawing board and say, no, I will start from scratch. I will start from the first step, which is to set a particular goal, set a particular target. So, for example, right, let's say you set a target for 10 crores. I want 10 crores at the end of it. At the end of my 20-year or 15-year horizon of till I can retire, I need at least 10 crores. Out of that 10 crores, how much needs to be for considered for insurance, considered for emergency, considered for all the first lines of defense, right? Your emergency, your insurance is what your base is upon which you can actually go out and take risk, right? Otherwise, you're just going blind into equity, blind into all the mutual fund, blind into everything, right? Without a particular goal, which can be very harmful for you, because then you'll have to dip into everything, which can be very harmful in the long term. Okay, very less amount only got as extra money, couldn't plan better. No, see, that's not going to be a problem because you have to plan with what you currently have now, and only then that model will work for you when you start getting a lot of extra money, right? When we, for example, the models that we were running for our entire mutual fund business, that time we were very small, no, the hardly any AUM, right? Today we are managing huge sums. So if our process or the level of mindset that we wanted to work with was not up to mark at that point, today we wouldn't be able to do what we're currently doing. Right. So no, with that particular amount, you should be able to plan well. And only then when things start working for you in a bigger manner, will that particular model feed into it at that point in time. Okay. It comes on celebration time, so it will go in that time itself. Yes. Yes, that does happen, but you honestly, to be very honest, you can't really stop that. I mean, there's a family that needs to be run. There's a lot of other expenses that have to take place at that point, so you can't do much anything at that point. So we'll have to plan something else, within your regular income itself, right? Within your regular income, okay? Because today nobody or most have no risk profile, as most chase returns by running behind equity only due to hype or fear. A lot of awareness needs to be created. uh, yeah, a lot of awareness definitely needs to be created. Uh, Not because equity is doing well, but because uh, people need to understand what their risk profile is. Right? Why? Because it definitely impacts your ability and it impacts you. It impacts your journey to survive in the future. Right? In terms of your job, in terms of your ability to save into risky asset classes, into non-risky asset classes as well. Right? That is what happened to one entire part of generation. But in this particular part of generation where most people have come in new into into the savings market, I would not even consider it to be equity market, into that savings market where they are choosing more and more different avenues to save. That time it becomes very important for you to understand how much needs to go for a particular goal. So goal based is what I would say. But yes, not understanding your risk profile is very, very harmful for you. And setting aside something out of a bonus is setting aside something for whatever you get extra is definitely going to help you in the long run, because no matter how much you think that it is so small, it's not going to help me out. Right? If I would have been of that mindset that it's so small, it's not going to help me out, even in a scenario where I thought that it would be enough, it was not enough. Right. So setting aside something, even if it's small, definitely will help you out because you're in that mindset to say, no, this is not money that I want to play around with. This is not money that I want to uh, uh, try to do risky stuff by making high returns or giving it to a chit fund or giving to gold loan or anything of that sort. This is money that I need for any bad time that comes for me in my life or my family's life. Right. Okay. Now, this when to use your emergency fund. Now, this is very important because I got to that point where somebody said that no, I would go into a loan if I don't have, and there might be a case where uh, that your lifestyle is such that you'll have to dip into your emergency savings, but that is not something you need to do, right? Two important things are there in this. One, do not use for planned expenses. If something is already, this is why we say that have a particular plan in place where each and every basket is meant for that particular goal. Money needs to be saved for each and every particular basket of yours. Second, once you use an emergency, you need to replenish that as soon as possible. Now, how many times have you dipped into your emergency reserve? One. So, two parts of this question. One, how many times have you dipped into your emergency reserve? Second, have you gone out and put back that money that you used into your emergency reserve? If not, put back the same amount of money, put back something more. And my honest answer to that question is I have not done it yet. Okay, the two questions are: one, have you dipped into your emergency reserve for a planned expense? Right. Second, if you have dipped into it for a planned expense, have you put the money back? Now, for me, it was unplanned. So, I dipped into it, it got over. So I'm in that phase to replenish it. Right. But for me, it was quite unplanned. But for your planned expenses, have you dipped into your emergency savings? One. Second, have you replenished that back again? Now, once I dipped, yes, you put back, but cannot calculate. That's good that you dipped in and you immediately wanted to go and you're conscious that no, I need to put that money back again. All right. Honest answer. Nothing, no other answer. That we just got one saying yes, you dipped into it, you put it back, but you cannot calculate how much. Okay. There's one saying no, I haven't. Planned expenses are budgeted for, and we try our best to stick to a budget and account for a 10% deviation in plans. Perfect, yeah. Emergency fund we have kept solely for job loss at any stage of our life. Perfect. I think you have covered step number one, step number two, step number three, step number four. I think you've covered the entire base, right? Because from what you're telling, now you have enough money to plan for your, you've covered the entire base. I don't know how much. I think maybe one-on-one, our team can get in touch with you to see if you're underinsured or overinsured. Second, how much is going towards your retirement or any children's education, that sort of plan. But very happy to be working with you on all those things. It's good to know that you've covered all the bases. Right. Okay. Now, use it only for critical emergencies. If something where financial attention is needed immediately, medical bills, temporary loss of income, but only if you do step number one, you'll be able to address all these things. Most importantly, do not use it for planned expenses. If something is planned, it can be as small as a gift, and it can be very, very easy to dip into your emergency reserve to say, hey, I'm anyways getting more money coming in at the end of the month for me based on my salary. I'll put it back in and let me use it now. Today, I need the money. This is something that you need to avoid. Right. Do not use it for planned expenses. You need to plan for whatever expenses are that. It gives you that sort of predictability and stability when you have to plan for expenses. Right. And plan doesn't mean that you don't plan for increase in the level of expenses. No, that plan also we are able to do given the fact that inflation and household inflation is somewhere between 10 and 11% in India. Right. So do not use it for planned expenses and do not think that planning for expenses is hard. No, it's not hard. We're working with savers who are on that plan where they are able to meet their expenses plus able to cover all the bases. Right. Most importantly, right. If for any case where after planning for expenses and everything, you dip into it for something that you is unforeseen, whether it is planned or unplanned, right? After covering everything, still if you do dip into it, replenish it as soon as possible. Now I'm working hard towards replenishing it because it was almost more than a year's worth of emergency reserve saving that went away in a month. So it takes time, right? So when you see something that you worked hard for so long start going away, then it's going to definitely impact you. It can demotivate you, but that's life. It keeps on happening. So establish a savings plan that allows you to gradually rebuild your fund without compromising on other financial obligations, right? Have a plan for that also. Okay, I've used it. Okay, now what's the plan for me to go back and replenish that back again. Right. This is the most important slide I would say in the entire presentation. When you need to use your emergency fund, do not use it for planned expenses. And once you dip into it, have a plan on how you can rebuild your entire savings. Right. I think now I will open the floor for Q&A unless you want me to cover something about, sorry. Yeah. So how can Milestones2Wealth help you? See, we will help you in the planning part. How much needs to be going towards emergency reserve? How much needs to be going towards a particular goal for retirement? Particular goal for a particular goal for sorry, saving and for your retirement, for your insurance. We will cover all the bases, right? So here we help you understand your potential and we help you grow your potential. Right, the others of doing more, say staying invested and showing that level of patience, because yes, rebuilding a particular part does take some time, does require some patience, because at first glance it makes you believe that you've lost the battle, but you have actually not lost the battle. Your battle has just begun. Right. So we will help you understand your potential. We will help you grow that particular potential. So when you come to us, there are multiple checkpoints. We help you understand your ability and your willingness to take risks. There's a financial health checkup that takes place to understand how financially fit you are. And only then decisions are made for you, tailor-made for you. Right. The other parts of doing more can come only when we set that particular plan. Staying invested, whether it is in your savings, whether it is in your retirement portfolio, all that is definitely on you. And maintaining patience again comes on to you. But we will handhold you in the entire journey for when you have to reach a crore. We believe that yes, the first milestone should be a crore, because once you reach that first milestone of a crore, the next crore and the next crore and the next crore after that is easier to reach, and it takes lesser and lesser amount of time. Like, this is proven. We have done this. Uh, our entire goal when it comes to us planning for a milestone of 1 crore is not actually 1 crore, it's 10 crores. This is why I said that no matter how much you're able to get as a bonus, no matter how much you're able to get extra, if you're having a proper set plan to say no, this much money has to go out, and you have that particular base that is set, then when you get a lot more, you're able to capture it much more better. You're already set, that mindset is already developed. That's why when we say first, we say that is your base. We are setting that milestone for a crore for all Indian households, so that over a period of time, in 20 years, that 10 is easily achievable. So what takes you 7 years or 8 years to build your first crore, then starts taking 4 years, then starts taking 2 years, and then starts taking 1 year. Right? Where you're adding a crore, then by the end of the 20th year, every year. Right? That's how compounding works. But your hard work that goes into the first 1 crore, that base is what sets you up for bigger things. Okay. Now I'll open the floor for Q&A. Okay, there's a question on which debt liquid funds have ATM facility. What is the limit? I'll have to see that. I don't know whether I'm allowed to reply, but I used to receive ads from Reliance MF that gives ATM card with some limit. Just check it out on AMC. But look, you just need very basic normal liquid fund. It can be as simple as your own bank account that can provide you that savings bank or current account, right? That money needs to be very accessible. That's what I would say. So we have some time where we can interact on Q&A. Thanks for the positive projection, but 10 crore corpus is head spinning. No, yeah, it's not head spinning. We've seen it happen. When you have a particular plan, we've seen it happen. We've done it for people. We've seen it happen. So it's not. It's not a difficult task at all. That's why we say first you get to crore. No, first the first battle, the first base is a crore, and how So the plan starts from how do you get to a crore, right? Then we plan for this is why the financial health checkup starts coming in. Why? Because we need to know how financially fit you are. Right? When you go for a blood test outside, you get a proper report, no, that you lack this vitamin, you lack this thing, and the doctor gives you some particular dose for okay, you take this for 1 month, and then you see how your body reacts to it. Same way, even we do that, right? When we have to check for financially when for how financially fit you are, there are multiple checks that we take in which we get a clear understanding of your ability to save and basically your savings potential and your ability to increase that particular savings potential. Everything sort of comes off in that. Then insurance starts becoming a part of it. So once we see all these things, right, we understand what and how to work for you and how to make a tailor-made plan specifically for you. So it's not something that you will get. See, because today there was a very good comment about awareness, right? See, it's not as simple as just putting one SIP into equity mutual fund and leaving it. And then you spend so much time on understanding, no, I need to have three flexi cap funds. I need to have one mid cap fund. I need to have one small cap fund, one multi cap fund, and then get that level of information on social media that says diversification works for you. Hardly people understand that out of Nifty 500, almost 27-30% comes from Nifty 50 only. So most money is going to the same place again, right? So that's it. It's not as simple, but it's not as complicated also, because setting a plan is the first step upon which this 10 crore is possible. That first plan needs to be set, and that level of awareness needs to come in terms of your ability to take risk, your willingness to take risk, right? Your savings potential and your ability to increase your savings potential. And this 10 crore is just taking from a look at the return expectation. Yeah, it's all public data. Right, it's just a 12% sort of return. Main part is consistency in this. Right, so you look at your investment, right? In the first 7 years, your investment itself would be 60% of the corpus. But as you go by, then the return starts coming higher and higher. Right, by the end of the 20th year, then your returns are 100% of your entire corpus that you built. You see the math. And it's all public data. It's all achievable data. It's achievable only if you have a plan. How do you deal with lifestyle inflation and the impact on emergency funds? See, the thing is, lifestyle is an aspiration. And I would say that if you're accustomed to a particular lifestyle, then be honest with yourself that with the kind of lifestyle that you're living, your expenses will be higher. If your expenses needs to be is going to be higher, then it can only be higher if you are in a if you're having a good amount of job security. You can have growth coming in into that particular industry, into that particular job. In relation to that, your contribution towards emergency fund needs to be higher. Be honest with yourself that it's hard to change. If you say that if you're confident that my lifestyle is going to change, nothing like it. But I was honest with myself. No, I know that it's hard for anybody to change their lifestyle unless and until you can. But plan for that, work around it, plan for that, right? Because if you are anyways, if your lifestyle is going to be on the higher side, where the things that you do are only going to get more and more expenses, then your corpus towards your retirement, your corpus towards wealth creation, contribution towards that also needs to be higher. So you have to plan for that. Okay, any short time saving emergency fund is there? I'm not sure what that means, but what I understand is, I mean, is it more from a return perspective? I don't understand. Is it more from a return perspective, or uh, I don't know, some clarity I would need for that. Okay, we have time for maybe, one or two more questions. So if there are any questions, I'm very happy to take it. I think somebody is typing, so let's wait for that. So I've put out our number. Just send us a hi for any requirement of yours. And to the previous question, right, where you want a short time saving plan. See, I think that it has to be tailor made for you. It cannot be one size fit all. We need to understand what your financial conditions are, what your situation is, and only then plan for you. Somebody else's plan will definitely not work for you, right? Okay. Which debt fund will give you 8 to 9% today? No debt fund will give 8 to 9%. Your government yield itself is somewhere between 7.1 7.2% from a long term perspective. It's 30 years old, but I don't think that there is. And if you want to go to a debt fund that is giving you a higher rate, problem is that see, for debt it's more riskier. Uh, it's not like equity. If you get stuck on the debt side trying to get a higher interest, understand that because their credit profile is on the lower side, that's why you're getting a higher interest. The risk level that is there in that is higher. That's why you're getting a higher interest rate. Right. So if you get stuck in it, your emergency money also goes off, your capital also goes off, everything goes off. Is it safe to invest in small finance bank deposit that gives you 8.25%? I think it's all right. I just read that before budget, Raghuram Rajan is worried about the big Indian middle class as consumption and spending is an issue now. What do you feel about it? A very controversial thing. I don't want to comment on what he has to say, but when he was in office, he told one thing. When he's out of office, he's saying another thing. I don't think I would read too much into what he's saying, but or on a general sense about consumption and spending. Consumption has moved from a more, it's become broad based, it's become more discretionary, right? And as income, see, the country needs to grow at a faster pace. The country needs to get a higher pace because on all fronts we are firing. So as more investments start going into the country by the government, you will obviously see, growth that comes in later. There is a wealth effect that takes place when you spend money. And since you are reading a lot of interviews, there is a good video slash conversation that took place about the wealth effect of spending money on infrastructure versus that of giving tax reliefs. So you can just search it on Google, you'll get it. Where clear explanation is given about the wealth effect of spending on infrastructure. Right? So naturally, that leads into more and deeper pockets, leads across, and that definitely supports consumption and spending. Can you give a direct link to the next webinar? Uh, and I don't know what. Wait. Challenges. Hold on here. Just give me a minute. I can do that. Hold on. Hold on here. I'll just paste the link for the next webinar. Just give me a minute. Okay, until then, I'll just it's just loading and I'll be able to load it and then send it to you. Hold on. Okay. There's a question on will rupee depreciation affect equity investments? See, rupee depreciation, see, don't get too much into that. Yeah, don't get too much into all these things because you look at dollar term return versus that of Nifty return now, it's the same. It's 18.5%, something like that. So don't dwell too much time where you are where it just disrupts a lot of things. It's not necessary. Okay. Second, okay, not sure how relevant it is going to be to retail investor. See, I think it's learning, right? We've marketed it as learning Saturday. It's free, so that relevancy of it being for a retailer or institution doesn't matter. Sorry, guys, my WhatsApp is not loading on my system. Sorry, it came. Yeah, let me just put it out there. Okay. This is the direct link. You can join directly. So I've shared it. Done. Thank you all for joining in. Uh, have a great weekend ahead. Thank you all.